Welcome to all. In this video, we will continue with the concepts of Linux and file systems, as well as in this session, we will see how to manage files and folders. So how can you create the folder? Yesterday you have seen how to delete the folder, you have seen how to create some files, that also you have seen. So today we will see how to copy using commands, how to move the files from one location to another location using commands, and how to list in yesterday also you have seen some commands like ls to list the files, but today also we will give some informations and some theoretical concepts which will help you out to understand the concepts or commands in a greater manner. Okay, so let us start with the things. So the first one is files listing. Okay, so you have to list the files. If you wish to list the files, then you can go for ls command. It is not is, it is ls command. All your files and directories in the current directory would be listed, and each type of file would be displayed with the different color. So that depends again. So if you have some files with the extension txt, there will be separate color. If you are going to run some c programs, .c extension, separate file color may be there. And for zip files like tar, gz, and so many extensions are there for zip files, it will be having its own color. So you may be having some image files that separate color, and you may go for os image files like .iso. So those files will be having its own color. So different colors will be there for different files and directories. Okay, so like in the they have given actually, like in the output directory are displayed in the dark blue color. So that is the yesterday's thing. So yesterday I have shown one screenshot where I have tried to list out the files and folders, and I also showed how exactly you can create the file or directories using command. So using terminal, how can you do that, I have shown yesterday. Okay, so you have one more command, the same command with some parameter, that is ls space -l or -l or -l. Okay, so it is nothing but, so it returns the detailed listing of files and directories in the current directory. So now detailed means what? So see, I don't know whether you know or not, but usually when you create some files, okay, so there will be so many informations regarding the files will be available. Okay, something like file name or file id or creation date of the file, size of the file, owner of the file, at what time you modified the file, or modification date and time of the file, then whether it is and then permission for the file, like the permission, like if you are authenticated person, then you will be having the permission of read, write, and execute. If you don't, if you are not from the authentic authority, or you may be allowed to only to read the file, you are not allowed to edit or update the file or execute the file. So there are some permissions also for the files, and there is a concept of whether to check whether it is a directory or not, separate field will be there. So there will be so many fields for each and every files and directories. Okay, so now why I'm saying, because in linux mainly there are three groups. Okay, so one is a user. So three group is nothing but, no, not three group actually, we can say three category. Okay, one, the file maybe belong to user, that is one thing. Okay, next thing is the file maybe belong to a particular group, and a file may be belong to others. So there are three categories, one is user, another one is group, and third one is other. Now user is nothing but if you are logging into your own system, say something like say if your name is say for in computer, in our lab, in svs lab, so you have some bca, isn't it? You are logging into a bca account, and you are giving some password, and you are getting into the system, isn't it? So that is your own, so you are the user of that particular system. Now group is nothing but, so one system can be given to many people with the what you say, credentials, username and password. Okay, so ultimately they are working in one particular system, and they can share the files among each other. That is separate part of story. And others are nothing but guest session. Okay, so if you are very new to that system and you don't have any access, and administrator has put the privacy to that particular system, then you are considered as a guest. isn't it? There is a concept of guest session, so you belong to other category. Okay, so there are mainly three categories: user, group, and others. And based on these categories, each and every files will be having permissions. Say for example, for user, authentic user, he has the permission to read the file, write the file, as well as he can execute if he wish. If the file is executable, then he can execute also. So all three permissions will be given to the authentic user. Now for group, there may be a chance of giving the only two permissions, like read and write. He is not allowed to execute some programs. There is a possibility. But for others, or if you are very new, then you will be having only one permission, that is read permission. You are not allowed to write the file, or you are not allowed to execute the file. So writing is nothing but creating or updating or modifying also possible, we can say like that. Okay, so the other person, like the non-authenticated person, will be having the permission just to read the file. Now why I'm saying all this story, because using ls space -l, it will list out all the information of a file. Okay, in the next slide or in the next video, I will put the screenshots of this. Okay, don't worry. So this is the information I just wanted to give. The command gives OS the owner of the file, and even which file could be managed by which user or group, and which user group has the right to access the execute which file. So this is nothing but this is what just I have said. There is mainly three categories. Okay, so based on that, the permission will be set. Based on that, you are allowed to work on it. So a simple example, if I want to give, so I don't know how many of you have visited no, I have seen Google Books. Okay, Google Books, there is one site where you can get books for free, as well as there are some paid books. Okay, now if you go to Google Books and if you search for KL James Linux learning the essential, that is a textbook, your official textbook. Okay, prescribed textbook, there is one copy there, but it is a paid one. Okay, now if you don't want to pay and if you want to just read, there is a concept of previewing the entire file. So there you are allowed to read, you cannot copy paste. I tried so that I can easily create the slides. No, I cannot do that. There is no option to copy paste it as of now. You cannot you can take the screenshot, but that is not up to the mark. The quality will not be up to the mark. Okay, you cannot execute the file as well. So you are allowed to just read the file, so because you did not pay the money to that particular textbook. So you can check, if you want, you can check. So this is the example I can give for the permission of a particular file. Okay, so this ls space -l will list all the permissions, as well as who is the owner of the file, modification date, creation date, and PID or file ID, if it may be a file ID or file name, it will list out, and it will list out the size of the file also. So there are so many information you will get when you go for ls space -l. It is one of the command. Okay, now after that you have something called displaying the file contents. Okay, now if you want to display, so yesterday we tried to create some file using touch command, as well as gedit also I have given. It is an editor, so that you can manipulate the file, or you can create the file using gedit command. But touch is the official command using which you can create the file, but the size of the file will be 0 byte, because you are not dumping any data to that particular file. Now say for example, you have dumped some data, you have some data inside the file, and that file is residing in one particular directory. If that is the case, now using terminal, using commands, how can you see the content of that file? Either you can open the file, or you can just go for cat command, cat usually used to display the content of that particular file. So the example is like cat space file name, whatever the file you want to see. So cat command can be used to display the contents of the file. This command will display the contents of the file name which you pass. Okay, and if the output is very large, then we could use more or less to fit the output on the terminal screen. Otherwise the content of the whole file is displayed at once. Now more is again one command, and less also one command. Okay, so I did not highlight those commands. I just highlighted only cat command, but more and less or also commands. More is one command and less is another command. So by using those parameters on those commands, you can list out the file. Now why they have given like this? Because you cannot say that in one file the lines of data will be restricted. No, you may have 10,000 lines of data inside one file. So using terminal, just by going for cat command, it is very hard to list out, because 10,000 line means in terms of pages it will be there. But if you want to read only 10 lines, or in one shot you need to see only 10 lines, means you can go for less or more command, less command or more command. Based on your requirement, you can use it. So I will give some example also in upcoming videos. I will show you how exactly you can do that. So if you want, I will put one video where I will be using the commands, and I will show you how exactly you can manage the file system using commands and terminal in Linux operating system. Okay, the next point is copying of a file. That it is one of the important thing, isn't it? So in Windows, generally what you do, generally you take the cursor, you use the mouse. Mouse is one hardware device, isn't it? You use mouse, you point the cursor to my computer, you go to one particular drive, D drive, then you click some file or folder, you go for right click, then you go for copy, then you are coming back to the main page, then you are coming going back to say for example drive C or drive E. So you are going to that particular drive. Inside that, again you are going for right click and you are going for paste. It is the amateur thing. It is a general thing where you go for copying and pasting a thing. And if you are little pro, if you know somewhat shortcuts, and if you know some information about system, then what you directly go for Windows E. It will directly open your explorer. Then you go for a command or drive. Then inside the drive you just go for Control C, and you go for the destination drive, and you go for Control V. So it will copy and paste it. So if you are little bit if you have some knowledge of shortcuts, and if you know how to copy and how to paste without using the mouse or cursor. But in terms of commands, in terms of terminal, it is not about Control C, Control V. It is not about your mouse and dragging the mouse and keeping the cursor in a particular point and going for cut and paste or copy and paste. No, it is not like that. Here you have commands and you have to pass the file. Okay, now see, copying of a file. So cp command could be used to create the copy of a file. It will create the new file in destination with the same name and content as that of the file. Okay, now what is the example? Cp space source slash file name and destination slash. That is nothing but, so if you are in a current directory, say for example yesterday in video I have gone for Drona directory, isn't it? So it's if the something like Drona slash shri.txt, if that is the example. Now if you want to take that particular file and if you want to copy the file to default home folder, now the command will be cp space drona slash shri.txt space home slash. Then that shri.txt file, the copy of that shri.txt file will come and sit in home folder or home directory. So in Linux it is not folder, it is directory. Both are same, but the terminology differs. Fine. This is how you can go for copying. So you have to see one thing, always copy takes from left side to right side, isn't it? It's not from right side to left side. So in C programming and all, you are assigning the value from right side to left side, isn't it? But in this case, cp command, the source should be first and destination should be next. So the data flows from left command to right command. So just I'm saying, just for the example I'm saying, it's not about the flowing of thing, but the syntax I'm saying. After cp command, first you have to specify the source, then you have to go for destination. Fine. So that is the one thing. So this is for copying of the file. Now there is one more concept of movement of the file. If you want to move the file, how can you move it? So in Windows, what you do, you go for cut paste, isn't it? You are going for Control X and Control V. So or else you are going for right click, go for cut, then go to a particular destination drive, then paste it. It is a kind of moving. You are moving the file. But when it comes for terminal, when it comes for command, so you have one command called mv. All these commands are required to manage the file system and manage the file, isn't it? Yeah, MV command. So command could be used to move the file from source to destination. It will remove the file name from the source folder and would be creating a file with the same name and content in the destination folder. So here what you are going to do, it is a kind of copy thing, but from source to, folder, it will delete the actual file. What is the main difference between copying and moving? In copying, you will be having two set of same copy, identical data, identical file with the same name in separate destination, two separate places. But what is moving? Moving is nothing but you are taking a particular file from one position to you are taking that to another position, and in the source you are deleting it. In the source you may not get the same file again, isn't it? You are moving from one place to another place. Fine. So you can do it using mv command. The same concept, instead of cp you are going for mv command space source slash file name and destination slash. The syntax remains same, but you have to interchange the command. So it is from cp to mv, isn't it? For cp is used to copy the file from one place to another place. Mv command is used to move the move the file from one place to another place. So these are some of the commands which you have to understand. Now there is one more concept of renaming a file. Okay, so again in the Windows, what you go for? You go for either in some of the file system you go for direct F1, so that you can directly rename the file, or else you use the cursor, you go for right click, then you go for rename, and you are giving the file name in our separate file name, isn't it? But in terms of the command line, what you can do, you can go for again mv command. You are moving the command, but you are keeping the file in the same folder. You are not taking the file to some other folder or directory. Okay, mv command could be used to rename a file. It will rename the file to new underscore file name, or in other words, it will remove the file name file and would be creating a new file with the new underscore file name with the same content and as name as that of the file name. So what is the meaning? So don't go with the theoretical concept, you just think what you are going to do. Using move command, you are going to delete the actual file, and with the same content you are changing the file name and you are keeping in the same directory. You are not taking the file some other place. So there is no separate command to rename. You don't have the command like rnm or rename or renm or something like that. No, there is no such shortcuts or commands. You are using move command itself, mv command itself, but what you are going to do, you are not giving any destination path. You are giving the same source directory, so that the existing file will be deleted, but in the same fashion, in the same time, the content of that particular file will be taken to the new file with a new file name, and it will dump the content in that file, and it will be automatically saved in the same directory. You are not taking that file to any other directory. Okay, so this is how you can rename. So these are some of the commands for management of files. And for folders, you have as I have already said, so you can move the folders also, but mainly the creation of the file folder and removal of the folder is the main task. So yesterday I already have given mkdir and rmdir, and I have shown how exactly you can do it, and with the screenshot of that terminal. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can contact me. No issue. So for this video it is enough, because I don't want to give more commands in a particular video, so that there is a chance of getting confused. So if you have the system, try to run these commands. But if you don't have the system, if you don't have the resources, I can give one shortcut where you can install for your Android device. You can install the emulator. Okay, there is one application which will give you the access to command prompt in your Android phone itself, because I already said in the initial videos only, even Android operating system is using the base as Linux as a base. Okay, and even Android runs under some Linux flavor. Okay, so that is the reason why even the architecture of this particular file system also in a tree like structure. You can see there is a concept of root also in Android phones. There is a concept of tree like structure. The file system is in that fashion. So it is ultimately the Android phones are also running under Linux platform. Okay, so you will get so many emulator applications. You can install that emulator in your smartphone itself. Try to run this command. This command will work. Okay, ls command will work and cp command will work. So you try to do that. Okay, cat command will work. I hope. Cat I did not check, but hopefully it will work, I guess. So try to download that application. That is one APK. You can download it from your Play Store itself. Try to download, try to run this command. It will give a better picture to you, so that whenever it comes or whenever someone asks about the commands, you will be able to say, and you will be able to explain also. Okay, so try to do that. So I just want to wind up this video here itself. So if you have any doubt, you can get back to me. You can contact me. I will be available. So I will try to sort out the issues. And some of you have asked for the files of what you say, that some videos 16 and 17, I guess. So as soon as possible, I will upload that video to the Google Classroom, that file to the Google Classroom, that PPT, so you can access it. But it doesn't mean that you have to just read the PPT. It is, these PPTs are just for your brushing up the concepts, and so for my explanation, for my understanding, I'm making this PPT. Don't stick on to the PPT every time. Go to the textbook. If you have any doubt, you can get back to me, but try to read the textbook more, so that you can pull out the stories when some kind of questions are arriving in that particular final examination, if they're any. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can get back to me. Okay, so let me wind up here, let me stop here. Thanks for watching. So rest of the concepts I will upload in the next video. Yeah, thank you.